Hello and welcome to the High Altitude Investing live stream. Today is 11/18/18 and we are going to be talking about how Bitcoin can go to $100,000 per coin in 2018. So that's my personal prediction for you guys for the Bitcoin prices, and we're going to be getting into that in a second. Let me make sure my live dashboard is up and going fine. Welcome everybody to the stream. Looks like we're starting to get some people to tune in. Very good. So yeah, and the stream health is amazing, so that is also good. I am doing well. How are you doing, Lester? Thanks for tuning in tonight. All right, I might just want to grab that. I am doing well. How are you doing? And share this into my Discord really quickly for all of my viewers. All right. 1 second. I don't have my black hat with me currently, but I've got my straw hat, so started to get in trouble for that. Okay. Announcements at everyone. Let's get this announced in my Discord live stream. Cool. All right, so welcome everybody to the stream. Looks like we got 100 people online, so that is great. Everybody, how was the correction? How did you guys have strong hands? Did you hold through the dip? Did you panic sell the bottom? I hope you didn't, because I preach not panic selling bottoms on my channel all the time. So I hope that you guys all made the right decisions and hold on to your coins. And you know, because we're getting ready for 50,000 and then 100,000 per coin. And I'll kind of get into exactly how this is going to play out in a second. Let's make sure that we got enough people watching. So I have a lot of emails and questions right now. I'm actually going to have my employee get to a lot of them tomorrow. But I've just been a little backed up because of all the hype and stuff. So I apologize if the email hasn't been replied to in a couple days. Also, if you put urgent or need switch to VIP into the subject title, you can get switched over to VIP quicker. And then if it's urgent and you're a mastermind or a VIP member, then I'll take my time out of my day and help you with any questions that you have there. But yeah, the new website will be done in February or sometime around then. So we're expecting to have a lot of that problem solved with the Discord switching, because I get a lot of people signing up and then sometimes it takes a couple days before they're switched over. So apologize for that for anybody that's been experiencing. Hodled through the correction. Very nice. Good for you guys. But yeah, let's start talking about, if you want to join Mastermind, email me at highaltitudeinvesting@gmail.com. All right, so let's check out my BTC predictions. I made a post on TradingView, and as you guys know, I mentioned that if support didn't hold in the triangle, we would test between 8 and 10K. I mentioned that multiple times throughout my channel, even though my primary count was that Bitcoin would basically moon right off the bat because I saw healthy consolidation. We had a little extra panic. This is totally normal. It's totally okay. The major bull trend is intact. You never want to get stuck on these little corrections. When something drops like this, you never want to get stuck seeing the little market cycle. I recommend zooming out, scrolling really down on the chart, zooming really far out, and looking at the bigger picture of these coins and these charts. Because when you start to get stuck on the little teeny corrections, you start to sell bottoms and make your decisions based on fear. And you never want to make decisions based on fear. If you want to stay logical, you want to make decisions based on logic, not fear. So the correction that we had over the past few days is normal. It's completely normal, actually. And it's healthy actually for the marketplace to have these types of corrections. This just means that I got to buy a bunch more cheaper Bitcoin. I've been averaging into it. I've been posting on my Twitter about averaging into it. Speaking of which, you should follow me on Twitter because I've got a lot of posts and calls if you need to stay updated on stuff. At High Altitude INV, it's a great place to do so. As you can see, I'm comparing it to the 2016 crash that was caused by some Bitfinex FUD. Well, people will blame it on that, but that was the 2016 crash right here on the right, and then the current crash is here on the left. So it's the same correction in my eyes. Very, very similar. And just so you guys know, it is completely possible for us to still tap 8,000 again. Completely possible. But you would never panic sell the bottom, especially if we touch 8,000, because that's the bottom of an ABC correction. ABC. So the C leg could be ended here at 10. We don't know for sure. It's likely with how much volume is coming in. But it could still touch 8. Now, if you're scared of it touching 8, then you need to change your mindset. Because like I just said 5 minutes ago, if you make your decisions based on fear, it's illogical. So in this case, we're just holding onto our coins and buying more. I've been buying more on Gemini with my US dollars for my bank account and my USDT from Bittrex, because I still trust US dollar Tether. I get a lot of questions about that. I still trust Tether. I don't personally believe that one breach in a system means the entire system is destroyed. So that's my opinion on all of the USDT FUD. So this is healthy corrections. If we count the subwaves inside of the 3-wave, here was the first wave in Bitcoin that we experienced kind of at the start of the year through January. And by the way, corrections in the spring are very common. Lots of marketplaces have them. Generally, people take profits for taxes. So, I mean, corrections in the spring are very common. Here was another correction that we experienced last spring of 2017. It was pretty intense. Here's that correction that I was talking about in 2016 that I was comparing our current correction to. So corrections happen, they always have. But when you zoom out of the big picture and then remember that the entire market cap is bullish and that you're not trying to call tops, things start to look very nice. So in the Elliott wave count, we are starting to get these 3 waves coming, which means we have 1, 2, 3, and then we have a 5 leg coming in this 3. This is the correction in the spring that I keep talking about. I'm always like, I see a correction coming in the spring. There's a bunch of news announcements coming off with with Litecoin, Stellar, Ripple. They're going to be releasing a bunch of updates into all of the altcoin software between in this general time period, and it just so happens to line right up with the same time period that is at the top of the 5 wave. And for people that actually do some fundamental trading, they generally teach that you buy the rumor, sell the news. So if there's a bunch of bullish news coming out in, you know, May and April of this year, I would generally expect that to be the hype that they are using to sell onto the general public at the top of the market. So I see a correction here when all of those announcements and updates come out, and along with the top of the 5 wave. Now, as you know, I do not buy or sell based on fundamentals. I'm just bringing that up as an extra point to consider, is those updates. And a lot of times they use those hype cycles to have enough volume to sell onto the top. So that's kind of what I see going on there, is that we will still have a correction. I think we'll see the top of this 5 wave between $30,000 and $50,000, and then we should correct back down to about 20,000, or the top of this previous wave set that we had. And that will be another great opportunity to be accumulating Bitcoin again. So that is my personal view on the overall prices for Bitcoin, is that we're going to have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that will bring us to 100,000 per coin in 2018. Sounds crazy, I know, but that's just the way that bullish markets work. And let's check out like the stock market too, because actually the S&P 500 is extremely bullish, and this is driving value into the Bitcoin markets as well, by the way, because technology, when technology develops at a quicker rate, the economy is greatly benefited from that. So in my opinion, the S&P 500 is in a very impulsive 5 wave. Now, that is extremely impulsive, and since we just broke out of a huge correction, this would be the first sell-off on a market cycle photo. So let's go Google market cycle. As you guys know, I always bring up this chart in basically all of my streams. All right, so the first sell-off phase of the market cycle is a bear trap. And then you have media attention, enthusiasm, greed, delusion, and new paradigm. We are starting to get into the media attention phase of this market cycle. We've had the first sell-off that happened in 2008 and 2009. People will blame that on a bunch of fundamentals, and yes, that was the catalyst in a sense, but also it was an ABC correction that was predictable with Elliott waves. So, you know, whatever. But in this hype cycle, I personally think that the S&P 500 will hit 5,000 before a first correction, and then we could even see it go higher than that down the road. And people are like, well, Dallin, that's crazy. The stock market's going to crash. People are scared because they got so hurt from the last correction that they're making their decisions not to invest in it based on fear. So then they falsify their arguments. So in my opinion, the S&P 500 is bullish. And the real reason for this is that if you look at the US dollar, where is it? USD. Well, that's actually a useless chart. Control Z. Here, I'll just show on my trading view because I made a little post about it. This will work. So I made a little post on my trading view talking about the US dollar index here and how it's on a steady downtrend. So inflation and fractional reserve banking are creating an undervalued fiat currency, which is in turn overvaluing stocks and the entire world markets. And this is why I personally believe that cryptocurrency will be extremely bullish, the stock market will be extremely bullish, oil will be extremely bullish, gold will be bullish, silver will be bullish. And it's really just because what's losing the value here? The dollar. People are just panicking to put their dollar into somewhere where they feel like it's safe. And so that is kind of why everything is so crazy in the world right now with all of these market cycles and the S&P 500 going up. And yeah, so kind of a lot to take in, especially if you're new to trading and new to market cycles and how all of this works. But just understand that people are the dollar is losing value, so anybody that understands investing is hedging their US dollars against the dollar because they know that it's losing value. And then there'll be a correction because people take profits, and the dollar is a good short-term spot to store value. Short-term. Long-term, it's the worst spot you could possibly store value, is the dollar. So at the top of the market cap, when the S&P hits 5,000 or somewhere around there, and everything starts getting really overvalued, I'm going to be taking profits and preparing to buy panic. So that's kind of how I see the entire cycle across the map. This is Tron. I've been getting a lot of requests. After I talk about this, we're going to take some altcoin requests because I love to do TA for you all. So as you know, I was talking about how Tron was bearish and then how it was bullish. Here's my call down. So this is where I predicted that Tron is a good short down to 420 Satoshis. So let's take a look at this call. Tron is one of my bigger positions recently. I've started averaging in. So we have an A, B, C. And I predicted that the C leg would go to 420 Satoshis here. People keep asking after 420, and then I gave them my take profits and showed the buy zone. And then let's check out what's happened since. So let's look at this chart. Here's the long chart. Okay. And then we press play. And then as you can see, we've broken bullish out of this falling wedge. And it looks like we will come back to test the trend line. That's very common after a breakout of a major resistance. because short sellers start coming in because breakouts generally mean that a lot of buying pressure came in quickly. So short sellers take an opportunity of that, or profit takers take an opportunity of that, take some profits, and then aim to buy the dip, specifically day traders. So that's why generally after the breakout of a falling wedge like this, it comes back to test the trend line. So I wouldn't be surprised if we touch 600 Satoshis or 518 around there on Tron again before we see bullish continuation. This is extremely bullish. This expanding wedge pattern where the prices expand out like that is very, very bullish. When Litecoin did that chart, excuse me, it basically did 400% in a week afterwards. So we're talking about like some serious bullish momentum generated from this expanding pattern here. So Tron will moon very hard. We have a lot of volume coming into this, and this panic as it falls is a great spot to start accumulating it if you aren't in on it. Binance is a place that you can buy Tron, and I believe Hit BTC is another place if you're trying to get some Tron. So yeah, now let's take some altcoin requests from people. Let them rain in. Whoa, 336 people online. Thank you. BitConnect. Okay, let's make some BitConnect predictions. I'm down with that. So, what a shitcoin. And I don't use that lightly. This is a shitcoin. Look at that chart, you guys. Manipulation. Not really, actually. They just tricked a bunch of people. And it worked. And it's harsh, but that's the truth. Basically, BitConnect tricked people into thinking that 1% a day is better than holding Bitcoin. Even though, if you look at the percentage gains for Bitcoin throughout this year, it's been like 2,600% gains, which is way more than 1% a day. But for some reason, BitConnect was able to convince billions of dollars worth of people that 1% a day is better than holding Bitcoin. So how did it work? Basically, they convinced people to lock away their Bitcoins for a guaranteed 1%, even though those Bitcoins are doing better than the coin is, percentage gain, than the lending is percentage. And so that's how they were able to promise 1%. Was purely because Bitcoin was going up and people would rather get a guaranteed percentage even though it's that risky still. So it was just like, it was a Ponzi scheme basically. And Texas banned it, and then a bunch of stuff happened, and they clearly took their profits right here, as you can see when you had this huge correction up here at the top when we hit 2 billion in market cap, and then it came all the way down to the bottom. Looked like you basically lost $1 billion in like a day. So that's them taking profits. That's big. That's, you know, them selling. And it's sad. It sucks. I know that people put their life savings in it. To them, I don't feel bad, because you should never put your life savings into something that risky. It's just dumb. But it is kind of sad to see people lose money either way. So that's my predictions on BitConnect, is down, down, down. You might have a little bounce back up just because nothing never has a bounce. There's usually at least a little bit of a bounce. So yeah, you might come test like 200 again, but it's a lot less likely with something like BitConnect. So yeah, it's dead coin. All right. Basic attention coin, BAT. Let's check out BAT. B-A-T. A basic attention token, dollar. As you guys know, I love the dollar charts. Let's go to 3 hours. Very nice. Do you see this parabolic movement that happened out of a falling wedge? Very nice. So this is when a trend gets steeper and steeper and steeper and steeper, at some point the trend line is going to break and it has to retest support. So that's what happened here, is your trend line got steeper right here, got steeper right here, and it got really steep up here and it just couldn't hold. So right here it broke the trend line, and then you had a retest of the trend line up here at 78 cents, which is very common. That's why you never, another reason why you never panic sell bottoms is because when you have a break in support, it usually comes back to test that support. As you can see, when you fell through the trend line here, oops, wrong tool. When you fell through the trend line here, you had a retest of that support and it became resistance at that point. So that's why you would never sell down here at the bottom at 59 cents, because it came all the way back up 80 cents. So that would have been the difference between, that would have been a 31% difference on the upside and about a 22% difference on the downside. So that's, you know, wait for that retest of the trend line, basically, is what I'm teaching there. All right, now let's remove all drawing tools. And let's go into 12-hour candlesticks so that I can get a little bit of a bigger picture of what's going on here. And I'm going to pull down on this. All right, so the first thing that we saw is a very nice rounded bottom formation. Let me just point this out. Right here, you have a long rounded bottom formation. This, by the way, took 3 months to form. So rounded bottoms are generally a little bit of a longer pattern for them to form out. So in this case, we started in October, and then it really started to finish late or mid-December, the rounded bottom did. And then after that rounded bottom, we started that parabolic trend on the upside. So let's count the waves in this trend. We have a 1 and a 2 wave, and then we have a 3 and a 5 wave. Now we're experiencing the ABC correction out of this move now. So let's kind of look at what that looks like. First, we have an ABC down, ABC, down to the bottom of the 1 wave. So it's likely that this bottom is in place. If Bitcoin has a lower low, this will also have a lower low. But like I said, Bitcoin looks like we're in the probability of the bottom holding now. So I would bet my money on the fact that the bottom is also in place for this coin at 35 cents, especially since these nice ABC corrections are bouncing hard. As you can see, we've had a, let's see, a 89% bounce from the bottom of that ABC. So if you were day trading that panic, you could have made 89% in the period of 1 day. So that's pretty amazing, really. Those types of bounces you really only get in the crypto space. Stellar, by the way, if you're looking for something to buy panic for day trading, always moves like 100% on its bounce. So it's a good one to buy the panic on like that for day trading. So yeah, it's likely that our bottom's in place, which means we can start new market cycles. That also aligns with the support right here at 30 cents. So we take that over right there and then move that line so you can see the support. So what used to be resistance has now become support, which is another reason that it's likely that this is the bottom of this trend. And now we can start to see that this would be the first Elliott cycle, so 1 wave. And then we could see a 3-wave out of this up to $3. It's likely we do, since everything's so bullish right now. And they all follow the king up, which is Bitcoin. Okay, let me delete those. So we could see something like this easily with basic attention coin, a $5. And then we'd see a little bit more of a brutal correction towards the end of the year with everything else. But this looks very in place with the other market cycles. And also you can see that 3 to the 4 is at the same time as Bitcoin. So that means you have the right wave count as if you start lining up with the same corrections that Bitcoin will have. And as you can see, from March to April, that looks like that corrective period. That's that same time frame that I keep mentioning about the spring correction. Right here. Oops, let me delete that. So yeah, basic attention coin looking pretty good. lots of volume, and starting a new market cycle after a major double bottom formation. So now let's take some other coins requested. Ethereum. So let's check out Ethereum. Sometimes I think my microphone glitches out on you guys. I'm sorry if it did. Looks like people are saying rest in peace, headphone users. Okay, so yeah, let's check out Ethereum. Ethereum. And let me find the Ethereum. Oh, let's just switch to cryptocurrency only so that I can break this down. Okay, Poloniex. I like to use the Poloniex graph. It's been around the longest, has the most data. Okay, I made a little chart on my trading view saying why you never panic sell bottoms, because, you know, Ethereum was starting to panic, and I was like, don't sell this bottom, and then we bounced off of the support levels that I drew here. All right, now let's take this and remove all drawing tools, and then let's go into a bigger time frame and start to look at the big picture for Ethereum. It's always good to start with the bigger picture, you guys. And then, yeah, if you want to look at the short-term movement, you can. But always start with the big picture because it's going to give you the most information. So that's what I recommend you do. Okay. Now let's take this and let's start drawing our wave count, because we're actually in the exact same wave count as Bitcoin with Ethereum. Their hype cycle started at similar times. So we have had the 3 and we're kind of experiencing the 4 here out of the 3 wave. So that's the 3 wave Elliots. Now let's look at the big picture Elliots, the full cycle. Okay, so you have to kind of zoom out really far here and then pull the chart down really far as well. And then you can draw the full cycle. So we have a 1, 2. And then now we can experience the 3 wave, which I personally believe could easily hit 3,000 in the top of its cycle. And then we'll have a 4 wave down to the probably around the tops that we're experiencing now, somewhere around here. And then that 5 wave. So my predictions for Ethereum in 2018, is 5,000 and possibly higher for 2018 Ethereum. For all you ETH holders, Bitcoin is doing a bigger percentage gain, just saying. But yeah, definitely an interesting chart to look at, and one that's pretty good long term. But you know, everything is debatably good long term in cryptocurrency because we don't know what has been used in the real world applications yet. And Bitcoin is used every day real world. A lot of these other ones are too, but you know, we just have to kind of see how things develop. All right. ETC. Of course, I still hold long term anyways because I manage less long term than I do short term. Because in my opinion, the long term risk is a little bit different until the first hype cycle crashes. ETC, okay? Let's do some Ethereum Classic. By the way, I was thinking about doing a meetup because I'm in LA right now and I know I've got a lot of my fans out here. So if you think that's a good idea and you're from the LA area, just go ahead and email me and say you should do a meetup. And if I get enough emails, I'll host a meetup while we're out here because I'm out here for a couple weeks or about a week or somewhere around there. And we will get a lot of my fans in the same room together. I can shake your hands, teach you guys this stuff in person a little bit better. And it'll just be a fun thing. So email me if you're from the LA area and I'll probably plan one while I'm out here. All right, so Ethereum Classic has been in this down channel here for a while. I was mentioning how bullish it was down here and that I predicted it could hit $100 down the road. That's still my long-term prediction for Ethereum Classic. We've started its 3 wave. We've completed its 1 wave and we're starting its 3. with a ton of volume coming in. So this trend looks great, by the way. 1, 2, and then we're gonna have a 3 wave. That will bring us to my first target, which is the $300 levels. And after that, it's looking like we could see that nice pump up to 200. So long-term target would be closer to $200. Short-term target is closer to $120. But again, it's with the rest of the market cycle. We're all in our 1 and 3 waves. So they're just following Bitcoin on the way up. And some of them have better percentage gains than Bitcoin, some of them don't. So it's good to calculate what one is going to do better percentage before you put your money into it. One way you can do that is you can count your Elliott waves, which if you watch my channel, you probably have been learning a lot about that lately. And then you can use this percentage gains tool and then go to the very highest target and see what the percentage is. For example, Ethereum Classic is about 538% to the top here. Now let's check out Tron and see what my targets are, because you'll see why I'm holding more in Tron than Ethereum Classic in just a second. Remove all drawing tools. Okay, so with Tron, we have our 1 wave, 1, 2, and then I'm expecting to have a very strong impulsive 3 wave, 4, 5, that could take us to 10 and even possibly 15,000 Satoshis per Tron. So let's check out the percentage gains on that market cycle. This market cycle could easily take you 2,300% or 2,700%. So it's just better to hold than Ethereum Classic. That doesn't mean Ethereum Classic isn't a good setup. That just means that this one does better percentage gains, so it makes more sense to allocate more of your portfolio to it. Okay, let's check our requests here. MCO is a signal of mine, so I can't go into the details. Otherwise, I'd do TA on it. All right, let's check out Verge, XVG. XVG, dollar. All right, so Verge was in a pennant and then you broke bearish. It was following Bitcoin. Bitcoin didn't hold in the pennant. Does that mean that it's dead? No. That means that we experienced a correction and it turned into an ABC. So let's draw our waves. A, B, C. Very nice. ABCs are the best time to start buying. So basically what I'm preaching to you guys is that the entire market cap is good for buying. You shouldn't be thinking like a worried seller. You should be thinking like a greedy buyer. And then when the greed really starts to come in and everything is pumping up and breaking all-time highs, then you should be a little bit nervous and be taking your profits into the US dollar tether, into the US dollar in Gemini if you need, if you don't feel comfortable, even though I personally trust Tether. And you're taking your profits into all of the hype when everybody's breaking new all-time highs and the news is bullish and, you know, everything is super bullish. And then, you know, it's like, it's just good to be greedy when people are scared and scared when people are greedy. So, all right, this was the first wave of that market cycle. This is a great example of how parabolic 3 waves can be in cryptocurrency. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So short-term targets for Tron would be 55 cents to 60 cents. So I'm personally holding Tron, by the way. So yeah, it's a pretty good hold. I like the coin. Well, I don't like the coin. I don't attach myself to any of these coins, but I like the chart pattern. So it's a great hold. Does great percentage gains too. If you want to calculate the percentage here, we take this tool and then we drive up. And we're talking about another 800% or so at least. So, and that's going to happen very quickly for this one. This one pumps hard. It's like ZClassic, ZCL. It's basically the exact same fractal. Let's check out the ZClassic fractal. Remove all drawing tools. And look at that. This very, very small one wave here that happened in April and May. And then the FUD, all the way down here at $2. And then you had a pump from $2 to $266. And then now we're coming down again. Since the bottom is likely to be in place for the entire market cap, I'm going to put the bottom of this wave right here. Okay, but if Bitcoin makes a lower low, this will too at $60. And again, that's that beautiful Elliott wave cycle pumping all the way up and averaging another 400 or 500%. So, okay, let's look at some other coins here. XRP. Ripple dollar. So, I've actually, when I landed in LA today, the Uber, well, it wasn't Uber. We got like this car that you can rent basically, but it's similar to Airbnb. You just rent other people's cars. But anyways, the guy knew about cryptocurrency, so we started talking about him, and the first thing he mentioned was Ripple and Stellar. And then we got an Airbnb, and then we get to the Airbnb, and the first thing that the Airbnb person mentions is Ripple and Stellar. So there's a lot of hype behind these two coins. If I just meet completely two random people, and in the same day, the first coins they ask me about are these ones. So these coins have a lot of hype in their cycles, you guys, and they pump hard when they pump. So they're fun to trade. They're fun to take profits on, and they're just really pretty fun in general. Now, in the case of Ripple, I was mentioning how I was bearish on both Ripple and Stellar on the short term, and I called that Ripple would touch $1. It looks like we touched 88 cents, so about 20 cents off, but I'd say that's pretty accurate considering that I started mentioning how it was bearish right here at $3. And I started mentioning that Stellar was bearish, by the way. I tweeted about both of these, and in my last live stream I mentioned it at 86 cents. And then, you know, said that it could easily come touch the top of this one wave or down to these support levels. So we did touch 31 cents here for Stellar, and we hit a pretty gnarly low for Ripple too. These are coins that I would mention that are pretty good to start laddering into again. So that means you can start buying a little bit tomorrow or the next day as we have a little bit of a panic probably again down to $1.30. But it's good to just start buying back into both of these coins. Start accumulating because we've already had the major panic cycle. We're already coming back down to these lower support levels again. So it's a laddering zone. Again, if Bitcoin has a lower low, this will also have a lower low. They could touch all the way down to 41 cents and their trends would be intact. If it broke below 41 cents, then basically that would be really bearish for Ripple. That would basically mean it's a dead coin because its trend is not intact anymore. And if a trend gets broken in the cryptocurrency world, it's probably because it's a shit coin. So, but Ripple I don't see as that. There's just a lot of hype, so it works and pumps really hard. But this is, you know, you could start buying. Now I will say with Ripple, it consolidates forever. So if you want to start buying now, you might have to be kind of patient because the last date range we had 207 days of consolidation. And it wouldn't surprise me if this consolidation period for Ripple was even a little bit bigger again. So that means that we could see consolidation for even up to a year with Ripple. But if you want to start accumulating it again, this isn't a bad time. But just be mindful of that huge accumulation period before it pumps again. The first accumulation period that it had was about, let's see here. This one was a little less time. This one happened in about a month's period. But as the fractal or the market cycle gets bigger, the consolidation periods get bigger too. So if this fractal repeats and then we have another pump just like this down the road come out of this, then it's likely that the consolidation will be bigger as well. So that means that we could see this again consolidating for closer to a year. And Stellar also consolidated for a long time. This consolidation period was about 219 days, and it wouldn't surprise me if we see another really long consolidation period for Stellar as well. But just be mindful of that if you want to invest in these two coins. All right. Let's check out Folding Coin and then OMG. FL Folding Coin, dollar, Poloniex. This is one that I've known about for a long time, actually, because I've been on Poloniex since like 2015, 2016 is when I really got into trading on there. But so I was aware of this coin for a long time because it's a Poloniex classic. Okay, that looks like the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like this. So with this coin, it wouldn't surprise me if we saw a little bit longer of a consolidation period, because the ABC, this had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that means we had one ABC down right here, ABC, but we're actually still in a bigger ABC, so that will be ABC back up and then ABC back down again for this one. Because we already had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so we need to have a bigger market cycle back down to these 1 or these 4 waves. So in the case of Folding Coin, I would actually put the probability balance in it touching 18 cents, or no, 1.8 cents again, before starting another bullish market cycle. But yeah, you'll still have this bounce up to 8 cents if you want to get out of it before it goes down again. All right, let's check out Litecoin. Or actually, there was another one that I said that I was going to check. Oh yeah, it was OMG. That's what it was. So I think that I made a post about this on my trading view. Or no, that was Quantum, never mind. Okay, let me check OMG. OMG dollar. All right, so I've already done TA on this coin before because, you know, it's a heavily hyped coin. So obviously I've done TA on it multiple times for people. And this is kind of my thoughts on OMG as far as its market cycles go. You've got a 1, 2. And then we're experiencing the 3, just like how Bitcoin is experiencing the 3 and all of them. And then we're going to have this nice 4 down, and then a 5 wave out and up. So it's likely that OMG, in the same time period that Bitcoin hits 100,000, it's like 170 per coin. All right. I already did Verge, Nick, so if you want to come back to this stream later and watch again, then you'll be able to see that. It gets uploaded to YouTube, usually pretty quickly afterwards. All right, Civic. Let's do Civic. CVC. You guys all excited for bullish market cycles in 2018? Okay, let's check out Civic. Now, this is one that I mentioned was the same fractal as Bitcoin Cash and the 2015 Bitcoin fractal, where you have this major breakout and then it comes back down and tests support. And I even said that it could easily come back down to these exact levels at 60 cents if you go watch my last stream. So it's cool that we basically nailed that target. And then now we're going to still have this hype cycle repeat and go up to $4. It should look something like this. It'll pretty much pop out of this pretty quickly. When it does, it'll pop up really hard like this, probably to previous resistance at $3.06. and then we're going to have it come back down, consolidate like this again, basically repeat the fractal, and then we'll have the real pumping come out of it, where you start to see more pumping on the upside towards $10. So this is like, this would be like 1, 2, and then we're still making that 3 wave, and then we'll have a 4 and a 5 coming after. Something like that would be the wave count for Civic. Okay, move those over a little bit. And again, that fractal, that 2015 Bitcoin fractal should repeat. I'll show it to you guys again just for anybody that's never seen it, because fractals are extremely useful. Because it's basically, a fractal is just like, by definition, it's a mathematical pattern that expands, and every time it expands, it does the same sequence of numbers or the same pattern, but gets bigger. But as far as trading goes, they're just really useful for the fact that people think the same way in big numbers. They have the same thought process in big numbers. And so a fractal basically means that the people are they're thinking the same way again. Even if they don't realize it, the chart paints that pattern perfectly. So this is kind of what Civic looks like to me, was the 2015 Bitcoin, where you have this huge breakout, and we have this pump, and then we fall back to support, and then you have this ascending triangle, and that really massive pump out. That's how I said it would impulse really quickly out of this. And then it just continues on a huge bull run. So another chart that looks exactly like this is Bitcoin Cash, Bcash. Let's just take a look at this chart. Again, 2015 Bitcoin looks basically exactly the same. Let's take this. This trend line broke. That doesn't mean that it's dead. So we have this very nice fractal. It's the same as the 2015 Bitcoin. Looks exactly the same to me. This breakout pattern comes back down, pumps, comes back down, pumps, comes back down, and then it'll pump. So very, very interesting to see people thinking the same way about something like that, and then it painting the same pattern. All right, let's do Litecoin. So I have Litecoin on my trading view as well, so I'll just pull that one up real quick. Come down here. LTC USD. Now I said to watch this triangle, and we had a bear break of that triangle. So any short traders could have taken a short position on the bear break of this triangle. So as you can see, we play the chart. We had a bear break. It fell. The reason that I thought this support would hold in this case was because everything follows Bitcoin, and Bitcoin was consolidating in that triangle as well. And I just saw the triangle holding support. I was wrong. Sometimes you're wrong as a trader. The thing is you make your winners so much bigger than your losers that if you're wrong about a couple of calls, your probabilities still work out long term. So in this case, I updated the chart because I update things if they don't go as planned. And I said, here's the real buy zone down here. And we basically perfectly tapped 158. Let's check. Yeah, 142. So we basically nailed my first target in the buy zone and just a little bit lower. That's just because Litecoin needs to do a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it still has a 5 wave left in its market cycle. LTC dollar. So there's that buy zone that I drew in that chart. Now let's look at the market cycle. We have a 1, 2, and then we're actually still painting this 3 wave. This is just a small correction inside of the 3 wave, because if you count the sub waves, this is the first market cycle's down here, the second market cycle's up here. Oops. Like this. And that means that we're still forming the 3 wave. So it's not done yet. And then we'll have a 4, 5 like that. March and April is when I'm expecting that major correction. across the market cap. And that correction will be a little bit more brutal than this one. So I want you guys to be remembering to take profits as we pump into that 3 wave over the next couple months. Be taking your profits when everything's breaking all-time highs. You know, sell into all that hype. And because we're going to have that correction in the spring, and it's going to be bloody. And if you don't have dollar tether and USD, and silver is also a good spot to sell into because it's really stable. And technically you're buying silver rather than selling Bitcoin. So that's really nice too for like tax purpose reasons. But yeah, if you're not taking your profits consistently enough when everything's pumping, it's gonna feel really scary when it's dumping, right? But if you've taken your profits, you're actually gonna be excited when it dumps because you know what's coming in the 5 wave, you know? So it's just like that mindset difference really goes a long ways. All right, Stratis, let's do it. Everybody's screaming bubble pop as usual. It's always so funny when that happens. Bubble pop, things drop. I'm scared. That's the sign. If somebody starts screaming bubble pop, they probably don't know how to take profits enough. Because they sold the bottom and now they want to justify it. All right, so Stratis looks very good. This is accumulation up. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we have A, B, C, and then that support correlates with this support right here. So that's very common after a major breakout to fall onto support. Okay. And that would be the first little market cycle in this actual pump. So in the 3 wave, that means we still need to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the 3 wave. And that would be, this is the 1 wave here. This is the 2 wave here of the full cycle. Oops. Control Z. Well, there we go. Okay. So I'm counting the waves inside of the bigger picture now. 1, 2, 3. And then we'll have a 4 down in the spring. Oh, wow. I keep doing that. Okay. And then we'll have a 4 down in the spring. Like this. And then that big 5 wave that we all love will be coming along with everything else, including Bitcoin. So that's the wave count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that. And then that's the subwave count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just like that. So that's how the stellar market or the Stratis market cycle looks over 2018 for you guys. Okay. Let's check out some more predictions here. And then we'll call it a day. Nice hat, ya nerd. Thank you. Okay. IOTA. Let's do IOTA and we'll call it a day. IOTA dollar. Okay, so IOTA came back down to test support again along with everything else because again they all follow Bitcoin, as you know, but it's still forming its 3 wave. So let's count these. 1, 2, and it's still making that 3 wave because it's usually so much bigger than the 1 wave, it makes it look tiny. Then we'll have that correction with everything else. And then we will have that nice 5 wave up out of this, just like that. So yeah, you know, 15, then back to 5, and then back to 25 is looking like our short-term movement for IOTA. Now, what is the percentage gains on that? For anybody wondering if it's worth allocating more of their portfolio to. That is about 11,000 or 1,100% gains over this year. So that's very nice, you guys. A lot of the altcoins are going to do more percentage gains than Bitcoin. But, you know, let's check out that percentage gain on Bitcoin, what it does. BTC, dollar, Bitfinex. So if we're going to 100,000 per coin and we're at 10,000 now, you guys, you know, can do some basic math here in your head, hopefully, and see that we're talking about 1,000% gains in Bitcoin through 2018. So that's technically less than 2017 percentage-wise, because 2017 we did like 2,600% roughly. I don't know exactly. I'd have to go look. Well, actually, let me just check right here. So from the bottom in 2017 to the top, well, let me make sure that I get the actual bottom so we're accurate on the percentage. Okay. Right here. Bottom to the top. Yeah, 2,620%. So basically, you know, 26 times your money in a year was the 2017 hype cycle. Now, so 1,000% up in 2018 sounds so crazy because Bitcoin will hit 100,000, but it's technically less percentage gains than we experienced in 2017. So that's just something to be mindful of, is use those percentage calculators. They can be very, very useful to get those gains and to see which one is more profitable to put your coins into. All right, so that's pretty much everything I wanted to go over in those coins. Let's check out my website at highaltitudecrypto.io. That's https://highaltitudecrypto.io. And if you come here and then you click on this purple button, you can become a VIP member. In the description of this stream, I have a coupon, CryptoMoon18. If you click on one of the options here, whether it be the year or the lifetime, I highly recommend the lifetime because it comes with more videos, has the lifetime video course. You can click on this and then it will bring up a oops, let me just exit that here. It will bring up this, and then you can apply that coupon, CryptoMoon18. I do this in my live streams, and you get 20% off on my VIP course, which is basically videos, signals, and a Discord chat where we all get in here and we talk. You can message me, and we can basically go over entries in here. I better not go over too much here, but I basically update people on entries. I post signals and all of that good stuff. So check out my VIP product, see if it's something that you're interested in. It's a great way to be copying these trades and these signals if you don't really want to take the time to learn all the TA. And if you do want to learn the TA, which I personally recommend doing because it's good to understand everything, then I would go ahead and buy my VIP also because it comes with the video course which teaches you TA. So let me check out. I did do TRX, by the way, Bitcoin Geo. It was just at the start of the stream, so come back and watch it again. It will be uploaded to YouTube if you missed it. But I did go over TRX in this stream. Match your hat with your clothes, mate. What? Dogecoin will take over in 2018. The flippening. Oh my gosh. That's crazy. Yeah, no, Dogecoin won't take over. But it's funny that you spammed that, Game Jam. By the way, go follow Game Jam on YouTube. He's my little brother, and he does chiptune music. So shout out to my little brother. He literally has the best chiptune music in the world, in my opinion. Game Jam, and then exclamation point, and then you just search that into YouTube. Where is it? Maybe Game Jam chiptune. Okay, here we go. Let me just drop this link to my little brother's channel. Go follow him. Huge shout out to my little brother. He's been working so hard on his channel. He's got 507 subscribers right now. Let's get that number a lot higher, you guys. I love his music. He's writing it every single day. He does like chiptune stuff for video games. He vlogs about it, and he's just super dedicated. So I really respect that and just want to see him grow in subscribers. So go ahead and check out his YouTube channel, Game Jam. I'll drop the link one more time in the dashboard. And yeah, he's actually the person that told me about Bitcoin in 2015, my little brother. So yeah, go follow him. He's a very, very smart little kid. I love his videos. Go check him out. All right, so that's basically everything I wanted to go over today. I hope that you've enjoyed this stream. I hope that you've learned something. If you have any questions, again, I've got my email address, highaltitudeinvesting@gmail.com. I'm going to be having my employee go over some questions tomorrow, so if you do have some, then that's the place to send them. Also, my video description, my comment box, excuse me, is another place that you can ask those questions. So thank you all for tuning in tonight. I appreciate you guys, and as always, stay profitable out there.